A wild Elsie has appeared.
Oh, you bum. You bum.
Whoever wants to start the intro first, y'all can.
Sure.
What up? It's Dashy, and welcome back. Yes, back.
Well, it's kind of
It's
your
good.
show.
It is.
Hello, everybody. Putting topics into the video, and
Violence.
so I was thinking about
I don't need
because
this. My wife got 2 jobs.
the first topic is going to be about racism. Yeah, it's time to bring it out.
Deep shit.
Like-
You always have to think of the
Other
audience.
other
You
side,
know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
the audience, if they hear you say like fucking Lil Wayne dumbass when he was like, you know, I don't know racism. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously he knows what it is. You know what I'm saying? But in that, like, he had to come back later in another video and be like, obviously I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
you know, but I
This shit don't affect me.
It doesn't affect me
I'm
personally.
fucking rich.
the actual definition or term of
What is
racism.
racism?
Yes.
What is this fucking middle school? Jesus.
I
All right, now write me a 30-page essay.
I think you. I don't know. I don't know how. What it means
Have
to
you-
me.
oh.
Webster dictionary. Like I can fucking look that up and
Webster
read that.
defines racism.
The shit college
Yeah.
teachers hate. I tell you what my personal definition of it is, because it's. I don't. It's not something I think about. It's the whole point of this video because it's like I feel like people think about it.
Too-
Every idea, right, can be put out there in a negative or positive way. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of what.
Feminism is
Yeah,
a
like,
fucking great example of that shit.
feminism is a great example. Like, some people use feminism to like spout, ridiculous, bullshit about, like. In actuality, feminism isn't really a like if you look at what it was supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, before it got in the hands of people that misused it. It was supposed to be about equality, not like people beating up on another sex or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that is what a lot of people think feminism has gotten to. And I feel like racism can be used the same way. Like racism, you know what I'm saying, like, was initially intended, well, it was initially intended to be terrible, and it is terrible. But I feel like people use, like, their fight against racism in a way that kind of diminishes the point of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like people would be like, I ain't racist. Like, fuck white people because they racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, that you're being racist, when you
by
say
saying
fuck
that
right
term.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, okay, so like, here's my view on. If we're talking about my view on racism, I feel like being racist is like for like us, for blacks, we're just inherently racist. Like because like that's just how we. It's not a learned thing.
I wouldn't
just,
say we're inherently racist. I actually do believe that that racism in people of color is learned. Well, obviously in everybody it's learned. But I feel like it's especially strong in people of color because when you're taught it, like when you're taught that people have the capability of being racist, then it puts you in a mode of always being like on your guard, and that is what creates the racism that people of color have. See that kind of stuff, that is what makes people be like, well, fuck you then. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you say fuck you, you're not specifically talking to a specific person. You're talking about
Everybody in general.
everybody that was racist ever.
Yeah.
And when you're taught that the first people to be racist were white people,
Yeah.
which isn't true, but when that's what you're taught, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Then that's what you think. Oh, okay. Well, fuck all white people then. And then you grow up being just as racist as the white people are racist. You know what I'm
Persians
saying?
didn't like the Spartans.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah,
Romans.
yeah.
There hasn't just been black slaves. Like, that's the big problem in America because like that's just like how
Because
shit-
that set up the society. Like Houston, especially, is a melting pot for a lot of different cultures and a lot of different ways of thinking. And when you're around that, it helps you become more rounded. But if you put in a system where people are taught like history, because history isn't always the best way. You shouldn't really, everything that happened in history shouldn't be in the history book. You know what I'm
It
saying?
really
Like,
shouldn't. Yeah.
because
shit that should be
Half
in
the
there
book
isn't
in there is
Yeah.
lies.
Yeah,
Like,
because so like, I honestly so people always make a big argument about how racism is being taught in schools or whatever, and they're taking it out and trying to. I don't feel like taking it out is the right way to go about it, but I don't feel like teaching it the way that it's taught now is the correct way to go about it. Because if you teach somebody, hey, back in the day, white people enslaved black people, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you tell a child that, and they look in their classroom and there's a white person there. I was taught racism by a white guy. So when he taught me that white people enslaved me in that class, I guarantee you, I've never had more conduct problems than I had with that dude. Because because I was mad, like
you were mad.
I was
at
mad.
The fact
You know what I'm saying?
that,
Like rape, like that happened to black people. You know what I'm saying? By niggas like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. Like,
yeah,
you know
he wasn't. He wasn't. Yeah,
and it took me a lot of maturing and a lot of like growing up to understand that it wasn't his fault necessarily, and I was real fucked up that I did that. One of my favorite movies of all time is The Fifth Element, right? And in The Fifth Element, she like there's a scene where Lilu was going through and learning the world. You know what I'm saying? Like she's learning from a computer, and she got to war, and like she saw like a shit ton of stuff. Well, that I feel is the best way to encapsulate what happened to me when I learned about racism. Because
if you don't know what Fifth Element is, go watch it.
Yeah, it's great movie.
How are you
Fantastic
alive?
movie. Yeah. It's human nature to have a thirst for knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And it's shit. Like, because if you're not, like you said, if you're not learning about it in school, you go home and you research.
Yeah.
And like the problem with that is you'll go home and you'll, to quote Donald Trump, find some fake news.
Yeah.
Like you won't find like the unbiased. Fucking, you won't
truly
find
unbiased,
you can't find just truly unbiased opinions on racism.
And regardless of who teaches it to you, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would still be biased in one way or the other. Like, the reason that I was so upset with the white dude that taught me about racism is because I felt like he had a bias for white people. Like, he was trying to water it down and not make it seem as bad as it was. He was explaining everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, pretty much all the major.
He was just being a teacher.
Yeah.
You know.
But in that same sense, like, regardless of your bias or unbiased, right? Like, the person receiving the information will always have a bias. Like, if I'm a white person, I'm gonna be like, well, I mean, yeah, that was fucked up, but that ain't had shit to do with me.
Bill Burr made the point, like, he's a comedian.
Yeah.
He made the point that he made a joke about the Duck Dynasty guy, and like he was just super biased. Well, I can't say biased, but he offended some gay people, obviously. And yeah, because fucking he's a 68-year-old man. Again, this is Bill Burr's point. He's a 68-year-old man who created a duck whistle. Like, what, did you think he had some progressive points on gay marriage? No, he's 69 years old. Like, when he grew up, like, there was one way to be. You know? Like, the world changes. And the thing is, people don't change with the world. Yeah. Like, when we grow up, we're gonna have our views of the world. And, like, as you grow older, you get set in your ways and you just don't change, because as you're growing in your ways, like, you're just gonna feel that way. My grandmother, or it was some old black lady. I don't know if it was my grandmother. It probably wasn't. Most likely it wasn't. But this old black lady, and she was like, I think she thought I was being disrespectful or some shit. Yeah. It's like, your ancestors didn't job for this shit. They ain't got shit to do with me. Yeah. Like, I'm not a spawn of them. I'm a spawn of my fucking self.
Without looking backward, you can't forget where you came from.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like so I'm a guy that looks a lot towards the future, and you know what I'm saying, like the struggles of today don't really bother me that much, because I know, you know what I'm saying.
And that's the opposite.
The world will keep turning regardless. But and, like, I am a guy that looks forward to, like, tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in that, I always think about, like, the way that we are, you know what I'm saying? Like, our generation is. There's never been a generation before like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, a generation where you could grow up, talk to whoever the fuck, be around whoever the fuck you want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like the next generation, because of how we were raised, will be raised to be better than us.
Not me personally, but
it was cute.
No, that's just as dumb as fidget spinners. If you think about it, you're taking care of a fucking dog that you'll never have.
Our generation had pet rocks, goddammit. That shit
no, but
came
I'm saying.
Shit.
What's up?
Steve.
Oh, shit.
Weakness comes and goes.